Hi everyone, this is Ada. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about Oroton. Oroton is an Australian label that I collect a few bags from, thrift bags, and the reason I sort of love Oroton is in Australia it has history, and I am a real lover of fashion history of any sort. It just rings my bell and I just love to research all the time. As a fashion lover, my passion is fashion. I'm a trained fashion stylist. I've always loved the history of fashion, and I started collecting Oroton bags probably a couple of years ago now, and I thought I'd just do a video and share a bit about the company and show you part of my collection. For those of you who know Coach, I suppose Oroton is on a similar sort of level as Oroton, if you can relate to it, but people in Australia will have heard of Oroton. So let me start with a bit of the history, or we'll do a bit of the history as I go through and show you my bags. Excuse me if I'm looking down, I don't know dates very well, but the company was established in 1938 with leather goods and accessories. So in 1951, and I would love to get hold of one, they did the glow mesh compacts, you know, the compacts that you open up and do your makeup. I'm on the lookout for one of those at a thrift store because all my bags are thrifted, so that would be, I would love to get hold of that. In 1960, what followed that compact was the glow mesh bags. Basically, there was another company that made them as well in Australia, but Oroton went into them as well. And if you went to, in the 1960s, I was born, I was only a baby in the 1960s, so I wasn't a teenager, but if you were a teenager in the 1960s, you would go to discos, which that's what we called them years ago. I think they're nightclubs now. Any socialite or any well-kept to-do girl would take an Oroton bag to a disco or to a social event. 1970s, Oroton decided to, to trademark their O, which is on, I'll just show you this bag, which is on this bag. So that's their canvas and that's the O that they have trademarked. In 1970, they also went to our sister country in New Zealand and started, having Oroton over there, some stores over there. After that, in 1975, they launched some scarves and other accessories. So if you go into one of the Oroton stores, which I don't think there's too many of them now, they have jewelry and scarves, bags, and just nice accessories. There might be some stores, the only ones I know in Brisbane are at David Jones, so they do have an Oroton collection there. In the 1980s, the organisation becomes known as the Oroton Group, and I think it was Oroton acquires Polo Ralph Lauren, so there was a group of companies under the Oroton banner. In 2000, they came out with a release of sunglasses and some optical eyewear. And then in 2006, Oroton launched their first online store, so you could shop online, which today is, I think, the main way that people buy Oroton. In 2015, Oroton did a collaboration with Disney, and I would love to get hold of one of these. And it had crystal clutches, which had 2,600 crystals, and that would be amazing. If I could find one of those, I would snap that up in a minute. I think there was only 2 of them, and they were made, the internals were made out of silk, 100% silk with the crystals, and I think that would be amazing to find. In 2017, Oroton went into liquidation, or voluntary liquidation, and was bought out. So fast forward to today, they still exist, but different than what they did. Now, when I started collecting, which was only a couple of years ago, I had a look. This is my collection here, which I'll show you. They used to be made in Australia, and then I think they were made overseas in Indonesia, then they went to China. But I don't mind so much where they're made. I just collect on, when I go to the thrift store, on what I like. So I'm not going to go in any particular order, but just I'll show you what I've got. So this one I got because this was the traditional canvas Oroton bag with the O's, like I said, this has been trademarked, and I just like the shape of this one. It didn't cost me very much, and I just think, see, I think this one might have been made in China. But yeah, I love this one. This is my latest one actually, so I just like the colour and like that it's got the Oroton canvas. This one is my most precious one because this one, I think it was 1978. So when I got this, when I found this the day at the thrift store, I was so excited. And this one was made in Australia. Oh, it's got tissues in it. And it has the beautiful leather. This leather for me is just, I just love it. I just love the history. I wonder who carried this. I do have a video on my thrifted bags, which this would have been included in, so check that out if you want to have a look at more of my thrifted bags. But the inside is that, I don't know what you call that, suede, but just, or cowhide, I think it's cowhide, because it says here, made in Australia, genuine cowhide. And it's just beautiful. So I tend to wear this with my maxi dresses. I've got a picture on Instagram with a vintage dress that I wore this with, but I love this bag. This one I loved because it sort of reminds me of Prada bags and what do they call them? Croissant bags or something, I think. Just that shape. I just love that shape. I just think it's so elegant. Let me see what this one was made. If I can find it easily. Oh, yes, here it is. You're right, Belle. So this one was made in China. So this one I don't think is that old. But yeah, this would probably have to be one of my favourite bags because it's just so easy and it just sits it on my shoulder and I love it. One of the other ones I got was, I call this my travel bag. So this one is really old as well, and once again I love that I don't have to worry when I travel. I can just throw it on the plane, throw it in the car, and I just, once again, there's something about leather that was made years ago, vintage leather, that you just can't produce today, in my opinion, and that's one of the reasons I like it. Is this one so where it's made? Oh yes, this one is made in Australia from genuine cowhide. So once again, this one would be quite old as well because I know the latest ones are not made in Australia at all. So this one would have to be quite old as well. Maybe early 80s, I'm guessing, maybe. I'm not too sure, but I love this one. This one's a bit more of a modern day one, and I really love the colour of this one. It has Oroton since 1938, and I love the feel of the leather of this. I love the sound of it. Let's see where this one's made. Yeah, this one doesn't say it's made in Australia, so I assume this is probably going to be a more modern day one. Genuine leather imported by Oroton. Oh, this was the Indonesian one. So I think these ones would have come first, made in Australia, and then I think they made them overseas in Indonesia, so that one would be the next oldest. And I will have a better look at this one to see where this one's made, because that's how you can tell the age. So if you find an Oroton bag and you're going thrift shopping, have a look at where they're made, and you'll be able to just have an indication of what age the bag is. I think this one's going to be made in China personally, because it just doesn't feel, inside it doesn't feel very, the quality, it's not cowhide or anything, so I don't even know if I can find it, to be honest. Oh, it's got a, yeah, I'm just going to say this one maybe is made in China. And the last piece I have is just like this little white, I know I'm calling it a coin purse, wallet. I put coins in it. This one I think is just a modern one. Yeah, not too sure, but that is my collection. I will continue to collect Oroton bags. Actually, I get really excited when I go in and find a good quality Oroton bag. I would say they're not that hard to get at my thrift store, but I think the really good ones get snapped up pretty quick. But if there's any questions on Oroton, on my bags, just let me know. But don't forget everyone, 80 love style. See you again next time. Bye.